microphone, state your name for the record, and limit the time used to present your remarks in order that others may be given an opportunity to speak. The normal process on any agenda item is for the chairperson to read the item from the agenda. The board is given an opportunity to comment on the issue and/or place a motion on the floor. An opportunity for discussion may be presented, at which time the public may participate, and a roll call vote will follow. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Thompson?
Yes.
Patton?
Yes.
Slosik?
Yes. First item on our agenda this morning is approval or amendment of the agenda. I'll entertain motions, please.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to amend the agenda, letter C. We need to look at that down the road another week or two.
So we're just going to remove it?
We're just going to remove it.
Okay.
So I would move to approve an amended agenda by removing letter C on the consent agenda.
And I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to amend the agenda by removing item number C from the consent agenda. Any further discussion? There being none, roll call vote, please.
Patton?
Yes.
Slosik?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes. On to the consent agenda is approval of the minutes of April 27th, 2021. Approval of claims. Approved claims as audited and authorize the county auditor and recorder to issue payment of the same. The listings of claims paid at this meeting and all claims paid in the month of May will be published as the first part of the meeting in June. Item number D, file manure management plan. Caleb Applegate, number 69350, 2816 170th Street, Marshalltown, 4-year update. Langamade Farms, item number 58012, 697 North 75th Avenue West, Newton, Iowa. Annual update. Changes include crop rotation or optimal yields using manure analysis. I'll entertain motions on the consent agenda, please.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda as printed.
And Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? There being none, roll call vote, please.
Patton?
Yes.
Slosik?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes. Motion carries. Item number 6, approval of DNR construction permit. Burke Farms, Matthew Burke, number 59927, 1310 Taylor Avenue, Marshalltown. DNR construction permit. Public notice was published May 6, 2021 in the Times Republican and May 7th, 2021 in the Mid-Iowa Enterprise as required by the DNR. I'll entertain motions on the approval of the DNR construction permit.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the DNR construction permit, Burke Farms, Matthew Burke, number 59927, 1310 Taylor Avenue, Marshalltown.
I'll second.
Okay. Just as a point of reference, did we receive any public comments on this in the form of anything? No?
Nothing walk-in or email to auditor recorder.
Okay.
Nothing to the
Board.
All right. We have a motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? No? Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Patton?
Yes.
Slosik?
Yes.
Thompson?
Motion carries. Item 7 on our agenda this morning is the Marshall County Employee Health and Prescription Drug Benefit Plan and Marshall County Employee Dental Benefit Plan rates. Discussion and action on setting the monthly rates for fiscal year 22. Dan, you want to give us a heads up on
Yes,
this, please?
the health and prescription drug benefit plan, that is the same cost that we did in prior years. I believe we've been at this rate for 4, but don't quote me on that. Mary will tell me in a minute since I'm probably misspeaking, but that is the same as we have in the current year. Ever so slightly.
We have been at least 4 years, I believe is correct, on our health But the dental is continually just really small amounts jacked up.
Yes, and we're sitting better. A year ago, you kind of recall our dental plan was sitting, and basically COVID kind of saved our dental plan. And so that kind of helped us get caught up, and we're sitting at a pretty good spot here, but $8,000-9,000. But dental
For
costs are
dental,
way
that's-
low,
yeah.
way less. So
And our reserves in our self-funded plan are over $4 million.
yeah, so if we had to borrow from it for dental, we could.
Yep. Okay.
Let me clarify here a little bit. It mentions that it's the monthly rates. for
So
fiscal
this is the
22.
amount. There's also deduction rates for the employee. It's based on a percentage. This is the total amount that goes in.
That we pay and the employee pays.
Right. So
Okay,
the combination of the
Gotcha.
two for a single person is $812 per month.
very good.
And the single rate, I think it's 9 something. So, yeah, we've been very blessed here with our medical plan for sure. Let's not just knock on wood and hope that it just continues that way.
I'll entertain motions on this item.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to approve the monthly rates for fiscal year 2022 as set out above.
And Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the monthly rates for fiscal year 22 as set out above. Any further discussion? There being none, roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Solosik.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes. Item 8 this morning gives us great pleasure is employee status change for Ben Varen from Deputy Sheriff Sergeant to Chief Deputy Sheriff. This is an exempt status salaried administration personnel policy paid at 85% of the sheriff's salary. He has a working schedule of 42.5 hours per week. Additionally, Ben Varan's civil service status as sergeant will be frozen at his current position as he serves as chief deputy effective May 16th, 2021. I'll entertain motions on this item.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve employee status change for Ben Varan effective May 16, 2021 from Deputy Sheriff Sergeant to Chief Deputy Sheriff, exempt status, salaried administration personnel policy paid at 85% of the sheriff's salary with a working schedule of 42.5 hours per week. Additionally, Varan's civil service status as sergeant will be frozen at the current position while he serves as chief deputy sheriff.
Any further discussion? Joel, do you have any comments you'd like to make?
And I just want to make it clear to the board that Ben's work ethic and dedication to Marshall County has been exceptional throughout his years of service, and I couldn't have more pleasure than having Ben serve as first deputy.
I agree. Known Ben for years and you made a good choice.
Thank you.
Any other comments or discussion?
No, I concur.
You knew Ben in his early days.
For a long time.
Yes.
My wife knew him very well. She taught school. And,
So back when he was really young and may have gotten in a little trouble?
you know, publicly, I just don't want to say.
There's nothing any of the rest of us didn't do.
To say before you're 18, nothing should be held
No,
against you.
no.
Absolutely not.
It's kind of like if it happened in the lunch hour.
Yeah.
Ben's a good guy.
Absolutely.
Okay, now that we've had our giggle and our laugh for the morning at Ben's expense. Sorry, Ben, if you're listening. We've had a motion and a second on this to approve. Any further discussion? Nope. Roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Solosik.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes. Item 9 on our agenda this morning is a resolution number 2021-0023, approving the assignment of certificate of purchase at tax sale of 503 Woodbury Street, Marshalltown, Iowa, to the city of Marshalltown, Iowa. Whereas the city of Marshalltown, Iowa requests to obtain a certificate of tax sale, number SS 2219 for 503 Woodbury Street, Marshalltown, Iowa, parcel number 8418-26-478-002, with a taxable description of Marshalltown, Lot 5, Block 1. Whereas Marshall County therefore avoids the expense of tax redemption procedure, and whereas the transfer of said certificate of tax purchase to the city of Marshalltown, Iowa is in the better interest of the county and is in the better interest of the city of Marshalltown, to eliminate any form of liability to Marshall County. Therefore, it is hereby resolved, the chairman of the Board of Supervisors is authorized and directed to execute the assignment of certificates of tax purposes in this real estate upon receipt of $10 assignment of the tax sale certificate fee payment. Jared, are you with us this morning?
Yeah, I am. Can you hear me?
We can. Would you please go over this
Excellent.
whole matter for us?
Yeah, this is a vacant lot here at, let's see, what's that property address? 503 Woodbury Street. It's a vacant lot. It's got over $8,000 in special assessments racked up for weed mowing. And it was picked up, well, the county picked it up as a county held tax sale in 2010. So the city's tired of having mowing it over and over again. And I think they have someone that could be interested. So shifting this over to the city makes sense for them to do the proceedings to get this back on the tax rolls appropriately.
So the city has an individual that's going to pick this up and redevelop this property, or is it going to remain a vacant lot? Do you know?
I don't know for sure, but from what I understand is they at least have someone that's wanting to take care of it. So I think they want to own it and take care of it. So this is kind of the beginning process to do that.
Okay. And your recommendations?
Yeah, absolutely. It's these, when we have if we have anyone, city or individual that wants to take on a county held tax that we have had sitting since, well, over a decade, we're glad to wash our hands of it and get it back rolling in good standing.
Okay. What portion of the taxes is the county going to be forgoing here?
At this stage, this isn't at an abatement stage yet. This is just assigning the certificate over to the city. If the city does run through the entire tax sale process and the owner does not pay back, let's see, let me get the amounts here of what would be abated at that point. It's delinquent tax total of $1,673. I don't have the exact figures of what's all the penalty and cost with that, but it's right now taxed at $164 a year.
Okay.
And so of that annual, I can get it pulled up here in front of me, and I can get you what portion of
Share
that
of it
is the county.
Fees to the city for mowing.
Yeah, the $8,500 is the fees, the special assessment fees. The tax alone, just over the 10 years, tax plus all the penalties racked up over the last decade is just $1,600. So base taxes is less than that, and of the $164 tax this year, $23 of that is the county's. So when it comes to abatement time, I'll have a more precise breakdown of all those figures of which entities, of how much would be abated at that point.
All right. I'll entertain motions on this resolution.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to approve.
Adopt.
We're going to adopt this resolution, 2021-0023, approving the assignment of certificate of purchase of tax sale 503 Woodbury Street, Marshalltown, Iowa, to the city of Marshalltown.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to adopt this resolution. Any further discussion?
Nope.
There being none, roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Solosik.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes. Approved and motion carries. Item number 10 on our agenda this morning is polling location redistricting. Discussion and possible action determining the board member involved in the process, The 2020 census process requires redistricting and location of polling locations with a final GIS file available by September 30th, 2021. The redistricting must be completed by January 15th, 2022. I'll entertain motions on this item.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the polling location redistricting.
I'll second.
And we need an assignment, somebody on the board to be on this committee to assist us. Oh, look, two people looked at Steve.
I can
Sorry,
do.
short straw.
I can
You
do
know,
it.
it's
I can do
either
it.
way.
No problem.
Okay.
So we,
Glad to do it.
Let's, we'll pop in Steve as our representative on that. Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve Steve Solosic as our representative. Any further discussion? There being none, roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Slosson.
Yes.
Thompson.
Motion carries. Item number 11 on our agenda this morning is possible county engineer temporary sharing agreement with Marshall County. This is for discussion purposes only. Paul, tell us what you got in mind.
Well, first I was wondering if you want to move public forum up just because he's running.
Oh, I'm fine.
All right,
I'm on.
okay. It's like, you don't look like you have time to be here.
I got a few minutes.
Needs to catch his breath.
Just to update, figure out where we're at with the Jasper County engineer situation. You want me to move so we can?
No, you're fine.
I was just texting with the HR guy to see if at Jasper County, to see if they had any applicants. He says that they have a total of 21 apps. Most aren't qualified, so it's just, but anyway, he said they have a couple that they think they will interview, so. But at any rate, it's still gonna take quite a bit of time. And I'm okay with moving on with this further, but I think we need to have an agreement because up until now, Marshall County hasn't been compensated anything for my services at Jasper County. And I haven't been compensated anything for my services at Jasper County. So I just wanted to find out if the board is interested in me pursuing an agreement, try to get the details together, you going back and forth between, or if you want to have one of the members of the board be the person that talks with Jasper County to see if we can put together a sharing agreement that would have the terms that you would have as far as time frame, or whether it's, something that you guys really are not interested in at all. And that's why I'm here.
I know we've had a lot of discussion on this item, and this has gone on much longer than we anticipated. My concern is multifold. A, we need to make sure that this isn't putting too much of a burden on you or any of your additional staff with you being gone, or any of your home life, because I know you've been called out even on holidays on this. I want to make sure if we're going to pursue this, that you're comfortable with it and that you're completely not having any trouble getting your duties done here. That is your primary responsibility is to Marshall County. At the same time, it's nice for us to be able to help somebody else out. I would highly recommend, if we are going to do this, that we put an absolute drop dead deadline on this that would be fairly close to the end of the year, so that when they get into their budget process, starting for next fiscal year, Paul is not part of that. He needs to be working here only. My concern is basically, we need to make sure we're getting all our work done here, and this isn't going to be a burden on you or your home life.
Yeah, and it definitely causes more work for my staff, but there's times and parts where it makes them, they have to take more messages from me. I have to work remotely more. I'm more working out on my cell phone than out of my desk. It is working okay. I don't think there's anybody in my department that is like, oh my God, I can't get a hold of Paul. This is ridiculous. It's just times when I'll be further distance away from the office. So if I have to get back to meet somebody at the office or at Jasper, there's that's just a half hour thing where I go back and forth. But I do have the Tama Jasper or Tama Power Sheet agreement from Lyle over there that he's been using for a long time. And it's something that we can use kind of, and I can get some other counties agreements. If you guys know of other, counties that that any people that are involved that you would like to, take their agreements. 'Cause creativity is nice, but plagiarism is faster. And we can start with that. It's not something, what I've seen with sharing, it doesn't save each individual county very much money. If you look at what the engineer costs, it's not just salary, it's fringe benefits, it's my, my vehicle. And the way the agreement that I've looked at is set up is one county is essentially the engineer's, employer. So if we did an agreement, I would still only be employed by Marshall County. And all Jasper County payments would come through Marshall County, and any extra compensation to me would be through Marshall County, through my payroll here. But there would also, the power sheet agreement has a certain amount that's laid out per miles on the vehicle. For there's one county providing the vehicle, the other county pays half of that cost on a per mile basis that they're working, for the other county. It ends up in I'm just kind of guessing here that a county might save $30,000 or $40,000 a year total for sharing an engineer. And both of these counties, to me, justify having an engineer. So it's just one of those deals where, to me, it's a temporary thing, but I just don't see it as, I wouldn't think that you as a board would say, we're saving 30 or 40 grand. This isn't a permanent situation. You know what I mean? It's like you said, you want this to be an end. And they're having some success in their search anyway. Finally, people are starting to apply. I know that they're looking wider than just Iowa. And so that may be why he's saying most aren't qualified, because you have to be licensed in Iowa to even be considered for the job.
In the past, you've said this was something you weren't interested in doing. Has that changed?
I still don't think sharing is fiscally a good decision for most counties, because there's plenty to do for a full-time county engineer to be in one county. There are counties in the state where they can make it work, where they don't have the miles, they don't have the budget, they don't have the project work to do. There's counties that have made it work for a long time.
Last month, we had decided to terminate this.
Yes.
With the county. Are they coming to you and asking you to work with them?
I think
longer.
I think what's from what I've heard from the Jasper board, they recognize that they haven't compensated me or Marshall County for any of this yet, and they think it's time because they honestly don't know how long it's going to go. So in my head, I think it could still go another 3-4 months. It all comes down to who they hire. If they hire an engineer who is sitting in another county right now, who likely has a contract, likely has an exit clause in there that has a certain amount of time, and it's not 2 weeks notice. It's more like 2 months or 3 months, that they to hand things off to the county. So if it's someone who's leaving on good terms from their county, it could take a little while.
Have they got money in their budget to be able to compensate you?
That's what amendments are for.
Okay.
I would think they would, just
haven't-
because they were planning on paying somebody full-time.
And what I don't know
But they've been
is,
paying their other engineer.
yeah, and I don't know what their compensation to the previous engineer, how long he's using vacation or any of those details.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't think money is going to be an issue. But we aren't going to be looking to put together a deal that is a great deal for them. It's going to be, because what I'm thinking we're going to put together is going to be a half 50-50. So we would start by deciding what Paul sharing in 2 counties gets paid and base the rest of the costs on that. And we would just look at what other counties, you know, that are doing sharing agreements pay for salary, because we have that information.
If we do this, I want to make sure we cover all our costs, but I also want to make it so that it's a large enough number that it gives them an incentive to hire their own attorney, their own
Yes,
engineer.
and for lack of a better word, you basically have to make it punitive.
Almost.
You don't want to make it be something that's this great deal that,
No.
why don't we just keep doing this for another 2 years?
And I would want an absolute drop dead date on it so that when it comes budget time, he's not doing 2 budgets.
Yes.
And I know we're starting our budget process before the end of the year, but I'm not sure that they are beginning it down there before the end of the year. And you know, when you're talking about times when Paul gets stretched, you know, in both directions, that time has passed already, because that was February and March, you know, when we were in doing both budgets and doing programs. And, you know, that, to me, that's the worst time of the year. So as long as I don't go through another March, April, you know, but I think an end date of December 31st would be.
Unless
Just
they
fine.
start their budget in December, and then maybe we should do it at the end of November.
I'm thinking the end of November.
Okay.
Yeah, I really would not want you doing both budgets. We need you 100% on board here at that time.
All right.
Because we might have a meeting for our budget, but you spend more time ahead of that to get ready for your meeting with us too.
In theory, yes.
And
Or you the night before, sort of guy.
Mary's not on here, is she?
Maria might be.
Oh, yeah. She knows.
I'd like to say the end of November.
Okay.
Well, I guess what I think we're hearing is go ahead and put a proposal together that you think might fly between this board and that board.
Okay.
Let's come back to it at possibly our next meeting. And we can put it on for an action and approval item at that time, because today it's just for discussion purposes only.
Do you want me to give a draft or any negotiations with you before that point?
I would say we need to see it, yes.
So if we have some, we'll do some back and forth
Yep.
before we get and I think we can probably get that done. The Jasper board meets every week. So I'm guessing a week from today, we could probably have something within the next week. We can probably have something. I know they want to get something.
And you know, if they meet every week and you've got time to get this put together between now and then, first they're gonna have to approve it, and then we'll come back and we can approve it at our next meeting.
Okay.
Or if necessary, we could do a real quick Zoom emergency meeting on
Special.
a special session.
All right. Well, I'll convey that to the HR
Okay.
director down there, and we'll move forward with that.
Okay, moving on to item number 12, which is future secondary roads hiring, discussion only.
I just wanted to touch base with you guys because of our difficulties in finding motor grader operators. We don't, in the past, we had always had truck drivers who wanted to move out to motor grader positions. There's a small pay increase. It's like a quarter. It's not, and apparently it's just not what most of our guys are wanting to do right now. As far as that, they don't. And we've had trouble filling some vacated positions. And what I'm hearing right now is that I've got one maintainer operator retiring before next winter and possibly 2. And so what I want to do is I want to just have basically a permission to, if I find an applicant who wants to train and has that as their goal to operate a motor grader, that we make a hire before we even have a vacancy, because then I can put that person with the current operator who's retiring and let them kind of go through it and say, this is, these are your trouble spots, and kind of learn the territory instead of just put somebody in a machine and say, here you go, we'll let you know when you screw up. And it's just a lot easier if we can, and some people just have a hand for the yellow iron and some don't. And it's hard, it's getting harder to find those operators. So I just wanted your guys' opinion. I can always put 1 or 2 people to work. And if we make a hire and they don't work out as an operator, we still have more upcoming retirements where we can say, well, you already replaced that one, you know?
We have done that before. We worked with Nan in the auditor recorder's office on hiring ahead to get training up. We've worked with the sheriff's department on this. I personally, I don't know how you guys feel, but I would see no problem doing this again. And how we've handled this in the past with the other individuals is if it can be fit within the budget and stay within what our guidelines are and our hopeful ending fund balances, I would certainly go for it.
Okay.
I can't speak for these two.
How much time do you think? Like a month?
I would, yeah, at least. I mean, I think a month with the operator, and we're never going to get the training that we need for winter. That's, I mean, even starting right now, winter is what a lot of times separates the real operators from the sort of operators. And you just have to try that one. But I mean, you're learning the territory and learning that, you know, that section of roads that motor grader operator essentially has to take ownership of and see where the problem spots are and learn where the tough places to keep are.
I think it'd be a good idea because the majority of the times when we have telephone calls and issues is when we've changed maintainer operators and we've gone from this method of maintaining that section to somebody else's. And if we've got time to put somebody's body in the seat next to it and learn the way that operator has been done so that there's not that much of a drastic change in the way the road is being taken
There's always
care
going to
of.
be some of that too, because everybody has kind of their own style. And
Yeah.
if I could make robots, it'd be easier, but they're not robots. They've got their own way that makes it, that doing their route works the best for them.
And I get it, you know, but we got to keep that edge rut pulled back in and not getting the crown too high so that we get some of the equipment, and then the grain trucks getting high centered and tearing up equipment on our farm traffic. I think it's a pretty good idea.
Do we need to up the premium that we pay for the?
I'm going to bring that up the next time we do union negotiations, that I would like a little more of a step to motor grader, to that patrolman position, to incentivize it a little bit there would possibly be some more truck drivers that'd be like, you know, that's an extra $2,000 a year, you know, if we make it $1, you know, and that might cause other people, you know, skilled operators to consider it. You know, I can see that there's definitely a lot of stress in that position, and the public out on your roads, a lot of them that live there, they know where you live, you know, so they get a different level of scrutiny.
Okay.
Yep.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Moving on our agenda then, we're up to item number 13, which is public forum. This is a time set aside for the public to make comments on topics of county business other than those items listed on this agenda. No action will be taken on any of these topics brought up in public forum. Lucas?
I just wanted to have a quick conversation about our upcoming special session on Friday. I sent you guys a short list of some of the potential things to talk with our general contractor about, and I just had some kind of general questions on, since I thought I'd have you here, on how to maybe run that meeting. My thought was, if I did kind of maybe the majority of the talking and you guys came in, or if you guys wanted to read through some of these things and maybe highlight and say, Steve, I want to talk about this, and Bill, I want to talk about this, and Dave, I want to talk about this. And if we could, if you maybe like highlight some stuff and shoot me an email and say, this is what I want to focus on, this is what I want to focus on. Just maybe some thoughts and a game plan for that meeting so it goes smoothly and doesn't take an hour and a half.
Okay. Some things I really want to focus in on is any possible damage that's been done in our server room by some of the things that have gone on in the cleanliness. I've spoken with James a little bit, and we could have some huge issues with our computer servers and the
big
dust
dollar
and debris
numbers, yeah.
that's in it.
Yep.
And that can be just an unreal number. Again, election equipment, same thing. One of the things that's really concerning me is the resolution on the code items and the fact that though they were not bid out and that we already went in and settled with the insurance company. I want to make sure that we've got those issues taken care of. And the timely payment of our subcontractors through perfection is being a concern and making sure we stay on schedule here.
Yeah, I just, I sent this over to you guys just to kind of get in front of you what we're looking at. And this is kind of a real generic type up. And Nan and I talked about it. I'm like, most of these are just notes to remind me of something.
Yep.
So it's really generic here. So if you have questions or if you want to focus on something specifically, just let me know before Friday.
But you've got some very good things here. And I'd like to really hold Perfection's feet to the fire on a timeline.
That's
We need back in this
Yep.
building.
I
period.
sent them an email yesterday requesting two things for the meeting on Friday. I want a schedule, and I want a workflow flow chart. I want to know who's in charge, and if they're not on site, then who's in charge. I want to know who's head to roll when something goes wrong. Who do I go to? And that's not something. It's something that changes, and I want to nail that down. Is my goal here. So.
What's Perfection's name now?
First on site.
First on
Yeah,
site.
and that's been a conscious effort I've been trying to make as well. They've had a name change, and it's, after 2.5 years, it's a little difficult to switch those gears, but I've been working on it.
I can't promise I'm not going to continue to call them
I keep
Perfection.
slipping.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So just to get this in front of you guys as, some memory joggers on stuff, and reach out to me if there's anything you want to focus on specifically.
How do you feel about this? Do you think you're drowning? Do you feel like you're drowning at this point, or it's just gotten to be overwhelming?
No, drowning's not I've had it.
I can tell.
I've had it. I'm just.
And you're not much farther behind that.
No,
I think I already
she
went.
may be in front of me. I have been starting the project. I was under the mind frame, if I'm around and I'm connected and I have a good relationship with people, I can get better work out of them. And I would say the majority of the time that is true. We have gotten to the point where that mind frame is to the back burner, and I am like, what are you doing? What's getting done? Why is it getting done? And I'm on them. And it's sad that we've gotten to that point, but I've had to switch gears out of my normal way of handling things to really be direct and pointed on things. We have a Monday morning subcontractor meeting where all the subcontractors get in the room and the general contractor. And that meeting was getting away from its original intent. So I came in on Monday and I said, nope, I want to do things differently. I want to know what you're doing this week. I want to know what your plans are for next week. And if you need something from somebody else, and then next week I can come in and I can hold you accountable for why you didn't get done what you told me was going to get done. And what have you done to resolve that?
Okay. Anything else under public forum?
Yes. We are going to put this out on our Facebook site. James is going to put that out there. There is a broadband survey, and I attended a meeting yesterday, and we're kind of low on the survey numbers for Marshall. So it's a pretty easy link. It's www.centraliowabroadbandsurvey.com. centraliowabroadbandsurvey.com. And just to tell, for most folks, it's going to be what it's like for you personally, you know, what your broadband is like, but they're really trying to see what it, and trying to get a good feel. We were one of the counties called out with lower numbers, so I thought, well, we have till Friday, let's see what we can do. So I'm going to shoot something out to all the employees. If we can get another 20 to 30 people respond. We were at 84 yesterday. If we can even break 100, that at least looks like a triple digit number.
Is this county or in incorporated areas?
It's both. It's both. It's anybody residing in Marshall County.
Okay, what's the address again?
www.centraliowabroadbandsurvey.com. And James will put it on the Marshall County Facebook site as well for anybody out in the public. I'm going to send an email out to all staff.
Okay.
So I did it personally at home. I'd got something at home from the chamber, and it was a very quick survey.
I did too.
It didn't, real easy, didn't take long. So if that helps them identify what's needed, it can't hurt.
Okay.
We've got some places in the county that it's not great.
If I have good internet, should I take that survey?
Yes,
Okay.
they want to know that
I
it's
think they
good
need to know
too.
both.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't worry, there's people like me that filled it out differently, so.
Okay.
Are you fiber optics where you
I am. I have hard wireless.
live? I do too.
Well,
Yep.
Jay Duncan used to live in my house, so that helps.
He's got it dedicated.
Yeah.
All right.
um,
Anybody else? Going once? Going twice?
No one on.
You shall forever hold your peace.
Okay.
We're on to item number 14, adjournment. The next regular session is May 25th, 2021 at 9:05 a.m. All business to be acted upon at that session should be submitted to the County Auditor Recorder's Office or the Board of Supervisors Office by Wednesday, May 19th, 2021 at 12 p.m. There being no further business to come before the board, this meeting is adjourned at 9:49 a.m. Thank you.